Roger Heier, middle of Gove County, Kansas. Been farming since 1995. Moved back here from Lincoln, Nebraska after working there for a year. Went to school at K-State Salina and married for 27 years. Got 4 kids. That's about all there is. It's just getting the soil back to where it used to be, how it's supposed to be, instead of all chemical inputs, all chemical fertilizer. Ground that gets hard as a rock when it's dry. I said, like to see the soil cover, get rid of the soil erosion. That's the biggest reason why I got into this. Me personally, said I really starting to get into the soil health, human health aspect. I said that's intriguing to me. I didn't realize that we were doing everything so wrong for so long. 3 years ago we went straight no-till, and then we were doing covers at the same time. Before that we were minimum till. Before that it was conventional till. That's the way my dad did it. Summer, fall of wheat, very little fall crop, and that's what we did. It's just a complete mindset change on what to plant, when to plant, what to plant before cash crop. I mean, it's mind-boggling how many options, choices there are. Like I said, we got into it because we had 2 years of very drastic rainfall events, and soil erosion was something terrible. I spent a week filling up terraces before we could drill wheat. I said I was never doing that again. Well, I got started, the chemical guys at CHS, we've been having issues with kochia, weed control. Just there's not many chemical options anymore so he was after me for 3 years prior to me starting. So why don't you give cover crops a try? So he's the one that kind of got me started, and I said, then they had a cover crop guy and we talked to him and said, got into that. And then Tanya Alamang, the NRCS, our local director or whatever she is, said I talked to her about it, and then she gave me websites, YouTubes for Gabe Brown, Ray Archuleta, and I said I started watching a lot of that stuff, and a lot of that stuff is like, it just poof, it's like, holy crap. I said, everything they were talking about, you know, as far as water infiltration, you know, I saw that when we were conventional till. Get a 2-inch rain, rain would go in that far, you could kick your feet, and it said you'd have dust 3 inches down. And it's like, you know, at the time I didn't put 2 and 2 together. It's like now, it's like, yeah, we weren't infiltrating anything. So then, been going to a few conferences here and there. I don't go to all of them, but Michael Thompson up in Almena, I said he's kind of my mentor right now. He's my go-to guy. If I got questions, I try to get a hold of him, and he's more than generous with his information and his time. So other than that, that's YouTube. I do a lot of YouTube videos. And with all this COVID crap that's going on, it's a lot of webinars. So I've learned quite a little this spring. Just because all the webinars are available, I didn't have to go anywhere, so that was good for me. Well, last year we got into, we basically planted, we had either covers or cash crop on just about every acre we owned. I mean, the years before that, we were just trying to get cover crops to fit in where the cash crops weren't, and we're doing a lot of grazing. I mean, that's the other thing that we figured out once we got into this. It's really good grazing. So we're kind of trying to expand our cow herd, and you know, I'm just trying to get the cover crops that work best for us. I said right now the summer cover crop is by far the best. The springs is so hit and miss on the weather. The fall for the overwinter stuff is so hit and miss on moisture in the fall, getting them up, getting them going. I mean, we keep trying, but limited success there. But no, I said I'm getting to the point. I want to try to get around to year-round grazing. This last year said we fed hay for 2 months, which is a vast improvement from the 6 months we used to do before that. So I was happy. So, I mean, yeah, I want to keep progressing, but I like to get some of this stuff figured out, get a more handle on it before we move into something else. I said I wouldn't mind trying like interseeding or companion crop, something like that, but I'm nowhere near ready to do that. Well, it was after our first year. We had some failed wheat, so we went in and planted a summer cover crop. We got a rain. I said it all come up. We grazed it and got pretty good grazing out of it. We weren't doing any really strip grazing or anything like that. We sectioned it off a 70-acre field into 3 paddocks, and you know, we did well with the cows. It's like, well, okay, we got that. I said the next year, I said it didn't rain until Memorial Day, and said we had 580 that day. And I said my brother happened to plant that field to Milo. I said the other fields we were planting, said terraces washed out, that were just wheat stubble. We got into that field and nothing was washed out. That was just after one cover crop. I said that kind of made a believer out of him, and I mean, I kind of knew that's what it was supposed to do, but I didn't think it would happen that quick. Tell you the truth, I mean. So, and this year, I said I had a field of triticale. I said we didn't hardly have any rain this year at all. I said it had like an inch of rain maybe the 1st of March. I said I pulled up the fence, it was middle of May, and I was pulling out the posts, and I said there's soil coming with them. It's like, you know, so we must be holding more moisture. I mean, it was stripper straw that we drilled the triticale into, so we had good ground cover. And I said that was another one. I said, okay, we got something working here. I mean, they're kind of coming few and far between, but it's one of those, if you look for it, you can see it. It's treat it like a cash crop. I mean, the first few years, so we was kind of told by different people, just them cover crops will go scavenge what they want, you know, nutrient-wise. Like, well, yes, they will, but you also won't have much for a cover crop. I said, you still got to put some nutrients out there so you can get the cover crop up and growing to get something out of it. You know, that's probably the first thing. And it's like everything else, it's a new adventure. I said, yeah, it may be something they may have planted before, but you're putting a bunch of things together, and you just got to try it. I said, there's no other way to go around it. I said, you got to try it and expect it to work, not expect it to fail.